What's going on, guys? Today we got some brand new Forza Horizon 4 gameplay. Today we are looking at the Formula Drift car pack as well as some drifting gameplay. Let's get into this. Also, before we get into today's video, this entire video is going to be about Forza Horizon 4. However, on Wednesday, the new drift suspension update for Forza Motorsport 7 drops. So if you want to see me playing around with that, make sure you subscribe because I will have some gameplay as soon as it is available. Anyways, let's get into this Formula Drift car pack, which is going to be coming to Forza Horizon 4 and Forza Motorsport 7. So let's start it off with this, the Ford Mustang, Roush Mustang. I think we saw this thing earlier. I spoke about it in a couple videos ago, but now we actually get to see the thing up close and in person at one of the houses in Forza Horizon 4. And we're going to go in and do Forza Vista around each and every one of these cars, and they just look incredible. It's really crazy, the fine details on these cars. I will give you some hints of some cool things to look at. Look for these cool tow hitches on the backs of all of them. They all have like some cool ones. Hopefully they flap around in the wind. That would be really cool. They've also got some crazy exhaust. Some of them, actually one of them has like exhaust that stick out from the hood, which we'll get to a little bit later. And then also take a look at like the interior, like the handbrake, the steering wheel, and like the gauges. They are all very unique. Now let's jump into this thing. This is Josh Robinson's Holden Ute. This thing is actually super cool. It's the only Ute in Formula Drift. It's probably one of the only professional drift cars that's being drifted around in America that is a pickup truck like this. This thing is absolutely insane. You guys know I absolutely love Utes. Not unfortunately living in Canada, we just obviously don't get them here, but they are so cool, and this thing is no exception. It is unbelievable. Again, those tiny little details make this thing so cool. Josh Robinson, the guy who actually drives this car in real life, also an awesome dude. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him like a year ago, and he's just a super cool dude and super down-to-earth guy, and he drives this thing, and oh my god, so cool. Now let's jump it over to what will probably be, I think it's probably the most powerful car in the entire pack. This Dodge Viper, which is obviously a massive V10 engine. It's one of the biggest engines that's made. And then it's twin turbo. If you see those two spinny things on either side of the engine, those are the two big massive turbos. This thing has well over 1,000 horsepower and is just an absolute monster. Vipers are already hard enough to drive normally. Try drifting the thing and I think you'll have some trouble. But yeah, again, the interiors of these things are awesome. Seeing the shifter, seeing the handbrake as well, it's just so cool. And you've got like these proper racing seats. Finally, it feels like you've got like proper race cars in this game almost. I know we've had proper race cars before, but I don't know, there's something special about going up to the cars and seeing like Sparko racing seats and seeing like that handbrake or seeing like the shifter in there. I don't know. There's something special about it for me. Let's move it over to the Nissans now. This is a Nissan S15. This Nissan S15 is actually ridiculous. The big V8 in the front is so big, in fact, the front hood just has so many holes in the thing, it's unbelievable. Anyways, this is actually the car that I first noticed, like they all had like the big tow hooks on the rear. It's super cool. Sticking with the big old-fashioned V8 theme, let's move it over to this guy, the BMW 325. This thing again is just super cool. Hatley drives around in this thing. Mishimoto sponsors all over it, you know. Then let's move it over to what will probably be my favorite car in the entire pack. The Rain-X S14. This thing actually leaked a couple of weeks ago. The guy who actually drives it took a photo of it, posted it on his Instagram story, and then everyone just saw it. Again, running a big supercharged V8. It's insane. It's not the most powerful thing ever, but I love the colors and the way it looks, and I always love a good S14. I cannot complain. And then finally, we are finishing it up with this thing. A Nissan. The guys in the stream called it an S15, however, to my knowledge, this is an S14 with a Rocket Bunny body kit on it. This is actually the car that has the exhaust sticking straight out of the hood. We will jump into this thing and have flames shooting straight out of there. It's insane. And now let's get into some driving. Apologies in advance. The guys who were driving in this video were just not the best, we'll say. I'm sorry, John. And for some reason as well, the stream was like stuttering a bit, so apologies if it looks like a little bit choppy. The stream was just A little strange. Anyways, we're gonna head over to like that abandoned rail yard from a couple of weeks ago that we first saw and drift around there. And then we're gonna head over to one of the drift zones. So before I actually forget, the way you can actually get this car pack for yourself is you can actually pre-order the game. By pre-ordering any version of the game, you get this Formula Drift car pack. If you don't get it from pre-ordering, you'll probably be able to buy the car pack separately a little bit later. We don't know about that just yet, but yeah. I believe actually if you pre-order Forza Horizon 4, you'll get the version for Forza Horizon 4, obviously, the Formula Drift car pack, but I believe you also get it for Forza Motorsport 7 as well, which is pretty cool. Anyways, so obviously the big thing with these Formula drift cars is the drift suspension with them, which means usually in Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport 7, when you turn your wheels, you could only go like that, right? Which is good, but with these drift cars, you need to be pulling a lot more because you're going sideways. You need to turn your wheels almost sideways. You can actually turn them up to 60 degrees. Not only are you going to have these Formula Drift cars with the drift suspension, but you're also going to be able to toss it on your own cars as well. We don't know how many, but I would imagine the sort of category of cars that drift suspension is going to be available for are going to be things, you can probably remove like all your big like trucks, SUVs and stuff like that. And I would imagine your hyper cars and your off-road cars as well. Anything else, I would imagine it would make sense for them to have drift suspension on. We'll have to see though. One of the things I actually noticed in particular with these Formula Drift cars is just how stiff the suspension on them is. If you go into Forza Horizon right now and you go and max stiffen out your car, they come nowhere near how stiff these cars are. You see it right here. When the car slams down, the back two tires slam down onto the ground, and they just pop straight back up into the air. I don't know if it's a mixture of having crazy high tire pressure and crazy stiff suspension, but for some reason, the rear of these cars are just bouncing everywhere. And finally, in case you didn't hear about it just yet, when you go into like these drift zones, which we're doing right here, this is at the southwest corner of Edinburgh, right? By the way, it's just sort of on the outskirts of the town. Anyways, when you go into these drift zones, everybody else, like all of the AI, including drivatars, as well as people online who are not in your convoy, will become ghosted. So that means you can focus on getting the best score possible and not having to worry about crashing into other people and dodging cars or traffic or anything like that. You can just go and try to set the best score possible. It is going to be super, super awesome. I am so pumped to be playing with these drift cars when they release for Forza Horizon 4. Like I said, I'm going to be playing with the drift suspension very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys updated with everything you need to know about Forza Horizon 4, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye!